Hello F11 members and welcome to the Fundamentals of Post-Production video tutorials for issue 68, September 2017. You may have read already in this very issue of the F11 Photography magazine my How It's Done feature about my shoot under the night sky overlooking Durdle Door. A fabulous evening capturing the Milky Way over that iconic arch. So what I thought I'd do is talk you through the processing of that shoot. Quite a complex one in many ways. Interesting shoot and interesting post-production techniques as well. So let's just look at the raw images that I have on the screen in front of me. And these are straight out of the camera. And as you can see, I've already flagged the images that I want to work on. Now, as I explained in my How It's Done feature, I needed to make an image that was destined to be merged, several exposures destined to be merged. Here we have, for example, one for the actual arch, and here we have an exposure for the night sky. I'm going to need to put those together. But if I just go back to grid mode by pressing G on my keyboard, you'll see that not just that, but I wanted to utilize a super wide angle point of view by actually moving my camera up through the course of these 6 exposures to incorporate everything in the frame from the sweep of the beach here that you can see in this frame to the night sky almost directly above me. So how am I going to do this? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is process the images in Lightroom to be merged subsequently in Photoshop. So let's start with the image here, the 2 images shot for exposed to get some detail in the sea and the night sky. So I've imported into Lightroom. Obviously, I've already captioned the pictures here. I've selected my raws to be worked on. Next thing I'm going to do is go into the develop module here. And I want to come right down here and lens corrections here and click on enable profile corrections. I need to just give Lightroom a prompt here, click on Canon, and it immediately recognizes the lens there. Now what that has done is, if I click that on and off, it has corrected for a bit of distortion, but more importantly than the distortion is the vignetting. Now I shot this picture, as you can see up here, the detail showing my exposure, 16mm focal length, wide open at maximum aperture, and any lens shot wide open is going to display this kind of brighter middle section to the outer section of the image. It's called vignetting, and sometimes it's not a bad effect. It can work quite nicely, but we're going to be merging these exposures, so it's going to cause us problems. So I click on enable profile corrections. I now come down here and select, still in the develop module, all the images that I want to work on, and come here to sync, click on that, and it's now going to synchronize those settings. So it's going to apply those profile corrections to all the chosen images. Okay, now let's just come back into the one image I wanted to work on here again. So the next thing I'm going to look at is my noise reduction. And the thing is, I shot this image at, obviously, as you can see, at a very high ISO. So it's going to need a touch of noise reduction. Now actually, if you look at the enlarged section over here on the door, the noise, considering the super high ISO, is really not bad at all. Yes, there's a bit of grittiness to the image there, but really nothing to really worry about too much, which just demonstrates the camera in question, the Canon 5D Mark IV, does operate very well at super high ISOs. So I'm going to continue looking at this here and adjust my noise reduction here, slider here, to just take out some of that grittiness there. I don't want to go too far because then that starts suppressing the detail. So round about 40%, I think, gives what looks nice, smooths away a lot of the luminance noise. That's the sort of grain type noise. And now I just need to look at the actual color sharpening as well. Color noise reduction as well. Now I'm not seeing any really bad color noise coming through there. Nevertheless, I'm just going to dial in a touch here, a bit more of the color noise reduction, take it up to 40% as well. And now again, I'm going to select all the images there that I want to work on. Sorry, hold down Shift, do that, and now synchronize again, and that's applied that same noise reduction adjustments to all my selected images there. Okay, let's come back just to this one here. Okay, sharpening was done on import as usual, and here you can see I've got my standard sharpening set. I'm not going to apply any masking in this particular instance because what I want to do is really I don't want the masking to start affecting the stars at all. So I'm going to take all the masking out on my sharpening. And now I'm just going to look at my landscape image here. I'm going to ignore the night sky above it. And I've got good detail here, but bear in mind this image was shot at night and it needs to look as if it was shot at night if it's going to be a believable image. So I'm going to darken it down a bit because the detail is there, but I just want to make it look like a night scene, the night scene that it was. And just a bit of a tone curve reduction there works well. And I'm going to apply that also to the next image, the next landscape or seascape image here of the arch there. Synchronize those settings. And that for the moment is those two images dealt with. I'm now going to move on to my night sky picture here, and what I want to do now is ignoring the detail down here in the lower half of the frame. I'm now just looking at the night sky, and in fact I'm going to choose this frame here, which is virtually all night sky, and just think about what I need to do to this to really bring out the Milky Way. The galactic center, the brightest part of the Milky Way, is round about here, just above the horizon there. And we can see it well, but with a bit of subtle post-production, we can really bring that out. So, first thing I'm going to do down here is quite a neat trick for these night sky shoots, is the dehaze tool. And as you can see, if I just slide that to the right, it really does start to bring out the night sky quite significantly, or really makes that Milky Way start to pop out. I'm going to dial in 50% on my night sky here. And now really what I want to do is just stand back and look at that. I would be very, very, very cautious about or circumspect about using that amount of adjustment on a normal daylight scene. But for this night sky work, it does do what I need it to. So the next thing I'm going to do is come up here to the clarity slider here. And again, this is something that I'd be very circumspect about doing in a normal situation, but I'm going to add clarity. What clarity does is add local contrast. Has the effect of making the stars pop out the sky. And I'm going to put plus 40 on the clarity there. It's really starting to have an effect on that night sky there. I'm going to come up and just look at my blacks as usual. So I hold down the out slider and move the blacks to the left a touch until I can start to see that I'm clipping blacks. Now, I don't want to clip any up in the sky there, but I can come quite a way left on my black point, -60 there. And again, that's really had quite a dramatic effect on the sky. Same with my whites, although I'm not expecting to be able to make any adjustment here because we'll start losing the detail of the stars. But nevertheless, hold down the whites, come to the right, and I can come away a fair way before too many pinpricks start jumping out at me. So I'm going to go +20 there. Now if I come down here and just look at my before and after, you can see what an effect we've had on that night sky already. It's working. Okay, I'm just going to add a touch of vibrance here, about +15 on the scale there, just to boost the colours a touch. And that's it. Now, I think that's really done quite a good job on that night sky. I could come down here and look at my contrast. And what I'm going to do is use Lightroom's medium contrast preset here and dial that in, and that's given me more contrast and had the effect of really making that night sky much more have much more impact. Just going to tweak now, come back and tweak my black points because I think the blacks have gone a bit far now. Pull them back a touch, and I think that's looking good. So what I want to do now is apply those same adjustments to all of the night sky images here. So if I hold down Command and select them, sorry, where have I gone? Let's come back again. And it was that image there that I want to synchronize. So hold down the Command and select the 4 images that I want to synchronize. For some reason I keep going to map mode. I don't know why this is happening. Technology, eh? It's here to make us, here to drive us mad. Okay, there it is. 4 selected. I hit synchronization again and it's going to apply the same settings to all those 4 images. So that's it. So now I've done the work I need to on these images here in Lightroom. All I can do, what I need to do now is put them together in Photoshop. But just before we do that, let's just recap on all that I've done here. First of all, I imported the images into Lightroom. Secondly, I captioned them all. I selected the 6 raws I wanted to work on. I applied lens corrections. I then applied lens profile corrections. I then applied 40% luminance and color noise reduction and 30% sharpening with no masking. And then to just the, I then tweaked the black and the white points, and for the night sky shots, the images focusing on the night sky, I applied 50% dehaze, 40% clarity. I tweaked the contrast using the preset curve here, and I applied a touch of vibrance here and adjusted my black and white points, and that's it. Right, so in part 2, we're going to work on putting these images together in Photoshop. See you there.